We're breaking down 15 gameplay settings that could be the difference between winning and losing on the field in College Football 26. If you feel like you're losing some games that you shouldn't be losing, there's a good chance this is probably why. So take a look at my player icons right here. Nothing too crazy, right? They kind of look pretty normal, I'd say. But now, take a look at them here. Look how big they are right now. All of these icons are massive. And when we actually drop back to pass, you'll see they stay super big throughout the play. And even the passing meter itself is massive. This is really, really cool. If you just struggle to kind of see these icons on the field, maybe you feel like they're too small or something, this is an easy option that we can change where we just go into options, go into settings, and we want to toggle over to accessibility. When we do this, we'll scroll down to enlarge on-field graphics. Now, this will come in the game as off, so that's a default setting, but you can easily just toggle this on, and you'll get those big icons that I just showed. I think this is one of the coolest ones that almost nobody really knows about. And if you've gotten value so far from this video, you should consider checking out my website, civil.gg, where we have over 2,000 active members of all game modes and skill levels. Over there, you'll learn full offensive and defensive schemes that'll actually help you win more games and just make playing College Football 26 a lot more fun. Right now, you can actually get 40% off using the link in the top description and code COLLEGE40 and unlock everything we're doing. You'll get instant access to everything you need. Again, the link to that is in the top of the description. And now let's get back to the video. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. It's something I just refuse to give up in game anymore, which is just read options where the quarterback keeps it. So many times it results in a massive play. So this comes down to a setting that we actually need to change each and every game. It's kind of annoying, but it's good to do just at the start of each game. Click the right stick in on defense, and we're going to scroll down to the option read key, and we're going to change this to conservative. That's going to make the option guy focus on the quarterback, making them hand the ball off. This also you want to change the RPO read key, which is the same idea. It's just on RPO plays that have a read option. We want this on conservative to make sure they focus on the QB. Now, this will give up the handoff, but for me personally and how I run my defenses, I want them to hand this ball off because that's going to go into the teeth of my defense where we're able to get some extra help. Now, they bring a tackle, they break a tackle. But again, watch this R icon right here. Now that he's on conservative, he's going to play this QB each and every time. And it's just going to take away one of the biggest, like, kind of gimmick gotcha type plays that a lot of people try breaking out in super big situations. It just totally denies this. So many people get this adjustment wrong, or they just don't totally know how it works. We're going to be talking about the auto flip on defense adjustment. So this can be a coaching adjustment by just clicking the right stick in, and it's going to be the very first one, auto flip defensive play call. But what a lot of people don't know is that if you pause, go into your options, you can do this in the main menu as well, you can actually go here and turn auto flip on in the game options. So if we scroll all the way down, you'll see gameplay helpers, and you can just have auto flip defensive play call always on or always off. I recommend having this on. Why? Because auto flip defensive play call is going to match the strength of your your defense with the strength of their offense. So let's go into something like Y off trips on offense right here. If we looked at this formation, the strength is to the right. So if I call a play right here, let's actually go to something like let's go a little off tackle. Where do I want the strength of my defense? If I go to 3-3 over, look at my slot corner right here. He's on the left, but the strength of their offense is on the right. So with auto flip defensive play call being on, we're going to actually automatically flip our defense to have this slot corner be on the right side and kind of match that strength. Also notice that our backers are a little bit shifted over to that side, making sure that we're on the strength of their offense. This is a big deal because you never want the strength of your defense to be opposite of the strength of the offense. That makes literally no sense at all. So, what do we want to make sure we do? Auto flip on, which will always have the strength of our defense matching the strength of their offense. Easy one. You set it once, you forget it. So we're on the offensive side of the ball here. Let's click our right stick in and go into our offensive coaching adjustments. Now, typically, I actually don't touch these at all, but it's important they have an idea of what these do. First of all, deep pass catching, intermediate pass catching, and blocking, I've never touched. I never, ever, 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 ever touch these, especially with the pass catching, because usually we want to click onto our receivers and override the AI. So these are just irrelevant. And then with blocking, you can go aggressive. It's just that you can get holding penalties more often. I just don't want to even risk that. So the two that we will adjust is tempo adjustment and our ball carrier. Very plain and simple. Ball carrier, if we go on conservative, you're less likely to fumble. So let's say you have a lead late in a game. You might want to go on conservative. Let's say you're trying to milk the clock or something. Go on conservative. A money drive, right? You just can't risk fumbling. Conservative. Aggressive would be the exact opposite. This would be you want to try breaking tackles. Maybe you're on the goal line, 4th and 1. You'd go on aggressive right here, okay? But you're at a higher risk of fumbling. If we go to tempo adjustment, this is going to be literally just how fast your players get to the line of scrimmage after each play. Normal is going to bring you back to the huddle. No huddle is going to get you going hurry up. If you go turbo, you'll go hurry up, but you can't actually audible. This is the fastest way to get to the line of scrimmage and the fastest way to keep their defense on the heels. I don't use this though because it brings wear and tear up pretty fast. Chew clock is something you'll do at the end of each game or end of half in a situation where you're trying to just get rid of the game. A lot of times I'll use chew clock and conservative ball carrier together. But again, with that being said, most of the time, you'll just have all of these set to balanced anyway. So if you look at my defensive play art right here, whenever I'm using a certain player, you can see what assignment they're supposed to be in. This is super helpful just to make sure that you're doing the right thing when you are being a user defender. This is a setting I turned on a few years ago, and I've loved it ever since I first turned it on. Now, the odd thing here is that you can't actually change the setting from in-game, so you gotta go into the main menu, go into game settings, and then from our game options, we're gonna scroll down, and we're gonna find the setting that reads, where is it? Player controlled art or controlled player art right here. You want this to be on. Controlled player art, have it on. You'll be able to see your assignment. I love it. It's just a nice little add-on for me, but it's not the end of the world if you had it off. It's set default to off, but I like it on. So this one's for my Dynasty guys here. If we use the right bumper or R1 on PlayStation, tab all the way over to team, and then we go into formation subs. This is one of the coolest things you can do. Actually, I love this, where the playbook you're rocking, you can change what players go where in every single formation so that when you get into game, it doesn't matter. An example when this might be useful is, let's say, a hypothetical, is that gun, normal, Y off close, this formation. I like this in a lot of short yardage situations, right? It's just a hypothetical. So for this, we're going to click select formation set to edit, and then I'm actually going to toggle over with the D-pad over to my halfback because I don't want Jalen Buckley to be the halfback in this. I actually want Devin Miles, who's a much more physical threat in this. We're just going to hypotheticals, okay? We're going to go Devin Miles right here and sub him in. And then when I get into an actual game, we're already going to have him. And honestly, when I go into double stack, I actually want a different right tackle right here. And so we're going to sub in Trevor Shaw. Why not? You can think about the different scenarios where this could be really, really helpful, where let's say you have a formation that takes advantage of someone with a lot of speed in your slot. Well, what we could do here is go, let's say, gunwing trips. We're going to toggle all the way over to number 0 right here and say, I actually don't want Williams here. I want, we'll say, Kevin Boone Nelson. I want him in this slot because I want to take advantage of his speed or whatever it might be. This is incredibly helpful, just to help really set your game plan going into each week, going into each game, and ultimately letting you run a more diverse and just a better offense. It also just saves you a lot of time from doing this before each game in the play call screen. So I want you to take a look here at my user defender. I'm using number 42, but if I flick my right stick in any direction, you'll see me change players, right? I'm all the way at the top now. Now I'm going to be at the top left. Now I'm going to be at the bottom, etc., etc. This is called the switch stick, which is done when you're in a pass coverage assignment and you flick the right stick. Now, this video isn't to talk about really how to switch stick, but rather a setting that goes hand in hand with it. So let's go into our settings right now. Let's scroll down, and we're going to find this setting called switch stick delay. And we want this to be on slight. Okay, you really have two options, slight or none. What you do not want this to be on is moderate or disabled. There's no reason to disable it. That's a whole conversation for another day. You would never want to disable this because if you disable it, then you're just going to hit stick when you're in coverage, and you never want to hit stick when you're in coverage, right? And switch stick doesn't activate unless you're in coverage. Like, it just isn't how that works. So you do not want to switch. You do not want to disable it. Moderate is just too big of a delay, and slight or none are my favorites. Slight by far is my number 1 favorite. I also want defensive switch assist on, by the way. So it looks like this right here. Now, what does defensive switch assist actually do? Oh, I'm sorry, defensive, the switch stick delay. What does switch stick delay do? Well, this is from the time of the snap to how quickly you can actually switch stick. So if I try to switch stick immediately at the snap, because I have it set to slight, I can't. I actually want that because it's a slight delay from the snap to when you can switch stick. So that means you just won't get caught making other adjustments, okay? So right here, you can see how fast I can switch stick. So boom, now we can switch stick. So it's literally just a quick delay. For me, that just helps prevent any accidental switch sticks at the snap because I will use my right stick to make different adjustments. If you have it at none, you could accidentally switch stick in that situation. Moderate is just too big of a delay. Now, one thing that people think this thing does, and it doesn't, is that this does not affect how fast you switch stick afterwards. So right here, I'm able to switch stick very fast, right? Like, there's no delay here. You can see me, I'm just bouncing all around, right? So you don't have to have, it only impacts time from the snap to when you can switch stick. Now, the setting switch stick assist, what does that do? Essentially, that just helps make sure that when you switch stick, what you're gonna do is, or your player's gonna stay more in their area and not just totally like go start free roaming, right? So when I switch stick, my defender doesn't totally get overtaken. He is gonna still drift in his area until I take over. So that's just a nice like quality of life thing. In my opinion, we do not want to let these pitches off in the speed option game when we're trying to play defense. We don't want them pitching it out. Why? Because a lot of times the defense just struggles to react to him correctly. They'll take a lot of weird angles. And on top of that, too, it's just for me, when I'm running speed options, I feel like a lot of my biggest plays are when I pitch this ball out. You see right there, that little toss got number 12 kind of running just a weird angle. Now, this is a preference. You could disagree with me, but we're going to talk about how to set this up anyways, so you can kind of choose it for yourself. Click this right stick in on defense for our coaching adjustments, and we're going to go down to our option pitch key. We want to set this, in my opinion, to focus on the pitch option. That way, one, a lot of people struggle making this read. So a lot of people will kind of like naturally pitch this out. And when they do, well, you're going to have somebody there to help tackle them anyways. And you see, even doing that, the pitches in this game can kind of dumb out the logic quite a bit. You see, again, right here, we're able to still do it. A lot of people will struggle with making this read. And on top of that, too, if they keep it with their QB, it's going to lead to their quarterback getting a lot of wear and tear on him. So that's a huge plus for us. So one, it could be like this, where, again, you see that logic struggling big time to get out to the pitches. That's why, in general, I really want to try playing it just to make them commit with their QB and take hits with their quarterback. That's what I want to do. I feel like it is a much better way of playing it. And to me, there's less There's less big plays. I'm trying to use two controllers here. There's less big plays that happen when they keep it with their QB on speed options. And if they want to go, 3 yards in a cloud of dust running the ball with their QB, good luck scoring 21 points in a game doing that. And for me, you got to score 21, in my opinion, to be able to win. Like, if you can't score 21 points in a game, you're going to really struggle winning a lot of games. And that's fine right there. Like, keep taking hits with your QB. So let's say I take the field and I want to audible to another play that's in my playbook, but I just don't, I can't audible to it. It's not in my audibles. One of the best things that you could do to set yourself up for success in this situation is setting your audibles in game. So you do this one time and they'll save forever, but you want to do it in game. If you do it in practice mode, it can kind of bug out. So what does setting your audibles actually look like? Well, if we go over to this formation, let's go to trips, tight end, offset weak. Right now I'm in Oregon State's playbook, by the way. This is my favorite offense in the game. I love this thing. And we're gonna click the left trigger, or that's L2 on PlayStation. Here you'll see our audibles, and I never call this play flood divide, so I'm gonna select it. And I always call this play verticals, so I'm going to select verticals right here. Now, since we've done that, when we break the huddle and we get on the field and, I'm in whatever play call I want to be in, well, I want to go over to verticals. So we tap X or square in PlayStation, we use the D-pad to scroll over, and guess what I have now? I have verticals in my audible, so I have more access to one of my favorite plays in the game, and then we can snap this ball. This is not, if you take too long, by the way, and you try making audibles or hot routes underneath about 6 seconds on the play clock, you'll get false starts. Just a little thing to keep in mind. But once you set these audibles once, they're set forever in that playbook. So right here, another audible that I'll go set is bunch a strong offset. I never, ever run this play return PA flood. I never call this play. But what I do call quite a bit of is this play flood. And corner strike I never call. But what I do call is pin pull toss. Now, if I was doing this for the first time, I would just simply hit the timeout button or take a delay, and actually I can't because I've already done it once in this case. And you just take that delay game or you burn that timeout, and now they're set forever. So let's talk about the different passing types that you can choose from in College Football 26. I think this is actually a massive decision you need to make. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on it and kind of how all of these play off of one another. So in our settings, we go to passing mechanics, we have passing types. We have placement and accuracy, we have classic passing, we have revamp passing, we have placement, okay? Now, placement and placement accuracy are the two that I recommend the absolute most. The difference between these is placement and accuracy. You have an effect on the accuracy, whereas placement, you just have an effect on where the ball is being placed, and the actual accuracy of the throw is totally up to the CPU and kind of a random number generator. So, ideally, at first, you would say, okay, well, I don't really want that to be random. Let's go placement and accuracy, right? So then I control this, and we're able to control whether or not we have accurate throws or not, right? It's a little bit skill gap. But when we look at different quarterbacks in this game, they have abilities such as dot, like we see on Arch Manning. If they have an ability like dot, or they have some like off platform, which are essentially what we would call accuracy abilities, because placement and accuracy has us in charge of the accuracy, these accuracy abilities don't play a factor. So in this case, with a quarterback who has an accuracy ability, I would go placement. If not, I would go placement and accuracy. Okay, understand? Awesome. They essentially all the same, just whether or not you want to have input on the accuracy or you want the game to. And you would like the game to if you have badges that help boost your accuracy. Now, if we go to something like classic passing, this is like the OG style. I don't love this anymore. Honestly, like my issue with it is that you just can't really see where you're putting the ball until the ball's already in the air, which I don't love, right? You just use the left stick to pass lead and it's fine, but it's kind of it's whatever. I wouldn't really I just personally wouldn't use this. Revamp passing actually will give you the most amount of different like ball trajectories you can throw, but truthfully, a lot of these are just really unnecessary. Um in my opinion, on placement and accuracy, you're going to want to bullet pass a lot and then you're going to want to highball a lot, and you're able to do that with placement and placement and accuracy really well. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit more. And right now we'll just focus on placement in this case, okay? So we go placement. All you want to do is hold down the meter or the icon that you're throwing to and let go of it. Simple as that. If you want to lob pass it, you just tap that icon, bang, and then you're just pushing left stick wherever you want to go. So if you want to pass lead it inside, you can do that. And notice right here, you can actually see the icon where you're pass leading it before the ball's thrown. So if you watch, you can actually see me move this icon around a little bit, right? Where you can kind of see me kind of try pinpointing where I want to throw this ball exactly. You can't do that on any of the other ones that aren't placement or placement accuracy. Notice again, you see me moving the reticle around to different areas. That's an exaggeration, but you can kind of see where that ball is going to be, which allows you to better place it against the defense and will allow you to click on and make a play if need be as well. Like right here, where I undercut the ball because I knew where it was going. Classic and revamp, you just can't do that as well. Along with it, you hold left bumper here and you're able to get high balls, which right there is actually an overthrow. Nice. But holding left bumper or L1, you can get high balls. And when you highball, you're able to get really good pass trajectory on the ball, recreating very similar to what you're able to do on revamped. Like this is what a lot of the best players in the world use, or really all of them. They either use placement accuracy or placement. And so this isn't just me saying it. This is what the best players in the world have been doing this year. And for the past few years, we've had these options. Although highballing right now, being a little bit weird. One thing to keep in mind when you do highball, you want to use triangle or Y to catch, just because that's going to be an aggressive catch to attack the ball at its highest point. Now, whether you want placement accuracy or placement, it's up to you. And again, really all of these are kind of up to you, but these next settings I'm going to talk about is assuming you're on one of these. Passing slowdown is going to be off. This is really only for CPU play anyways. It allows you just to like get a slow-mo view of when you're throwing the ball. It's kind of cool, but whatever. Pass lead increase, we're going to keep this at none. It's really not super necessary until you become a very advanced passer. And again, even the best players in the world will usually keep this at none. You could go large right here. Like, if you want to see a crazy difference, go large right here. And when you hold left trigger while passing or L2 on PlayStation, you'll see it's a massive difference. But you can keep it at none. Reticle speed is that little reticle that I was showing you earlier where you can see where you're pass leading it. It's just how fast that moves. I keep this at 7, which I think is default. Some people I know, Croft, one of my good friends, one of the best players in the world, he keeps it at 3. I've seen some people go up. I just keep mine at 7. It's very user preference. And then we just want to be able to see everything, right? So reticle visibility and meter visibility, we're going to go user only and user only on these. If you didn't, I actually don't think there's ever a world where you should put these off. You should just go user only on these. I think it's the most obvious, just easy one to do. So let's talk about a few of the gameplay helpers. First of all, we want defensive ball hawk to be on. This is going to help us get players in position to make interceptions. You can even read it right here. Warning, disabling this mechanic may cause user defenders to attack the ball in the air less aggressively. We don't want this. We want our defenders attacking the ball in the air aggressively. So keep this on. Defensive heat seeker assist. This always resets itself, but I personally want this on. Now, a lot of people think there's like placebo in here, whether or not it works or doesn't work. I think it does. I go defensive heat seeker assist on. I put my heat seeker window size to 200, and I believe this helps line up tackles. With that being said, I've never done, and I don't know anybody who's ever done extensive testing to prove this. A lot of it's just like a feel me out, kind of trust me bro type thing. So do what you will with that. And actually right here, you can see defensive switch assist also got turned off for me, which I had on earlier when we talked about it. So keep in mind, these gameplay helper settings can sometimes just reset for some reason. I don't know why, but this is what I want. On, 200% slight and on. I'm always surprised by the amount of people who tell me that they have their controller vibration set to off. And I don't know if that's a preference thing. Like I always have mine set to assist, but I'll show you one like very practical reason why you should consider having it on is that on field goal attempts, you can actually feel the vibration when you get too far outside of the accuracy. So like right here, I'm gonna push my stick a little bit over to the right, and there's no vibration anymore. I know I'm gonna make this if I kick it. Like I just feel it, right? And we kick it and we're in. Whereas if I push this over to the left a little bit, there's vibration and it's gonna tell me that, hey, you're not in the area. Or right here, I'm good. If I push this a little bit more, I'm getting vibration. And I bet if I kick this, if we get good accuracy on it, it's gonna be almost off. And it is. And I was able to tell that from the vibration. So I think the vibration helps a ton in just being able to, like, it just makes the game feel better. But also, it's like practical because field goals, it's hard to tell when you're just looking at this, in my opinion. Some people might disagree. I don't know, but vibration helps me a ton on field goal kicking. So I'm gonna show you the best kicking mechanics in the game, in my opinion. These are pretty straightforward and pretty simple, but I just want you to be on the same page with me, especially after we already talked about vibration being able to be a big thing that can help you in your field goal game. Let's go settings. And we are just gonna go down here and, oops, already overlooked it. Kicking, control scheme, tap, and hold. All right, very, very basic. I think that's default. Tap and hold, all you want to do is line up this accuracy bar and then hold the icon when you get it. So you want it right in the middle. Let's go here, bang. And then you want to let go of the icon A or X on PlayStation right before you fill this meter all the way up. So bang, we get it right there, almost all the way through. We actually almost got blocked right there. Nice. If you hold this all the way up, you will get a accuracy penalty. Let's see that right here. Held all the way up. That's what happens if you do that. So you don't want to hold it all the way up. You want to let go right at the top. Right before the top, really. So we go here again, bang, right there's perfect. I could have gotten more power in this situation. I just didn't. Just an easy one. I would do this and then practice your field goals. With this plus vibration, you should be a pretty good field goal kicker. And by being good, that was a great one. By being a good field goal kicker, you will win games that you would lose if you're bad at this. This might be the most important tip we have here, but it's not actually in the game. We're going to hit the Xbox button or PlayStation. If you're doing it on PlayStation, just follow along the best you can. And we're going to scroll over to our account. We're going to go into our settings, and the big thing here is that we want to go check out our network and make sure we are wired. The difference between wireless and wired is massive. It's going to make everything significantly faster if you're wired. That is hooking up an Ethernet cable into your router or your modem. This seriously, being wired it's a game changer. It will make sure you're not getting any kind of lag, any kind of delay, especially input delay. It can literally be the difference between you able to throw a touchdown and you throwing an interception based nothing on the actual game, but you just being wired because your connection will be that much better, will be that much faster, that much smoother. So many people I know are like willingly wireless and then they complain about delay. And it's like, oh, I just have to be wired? Okay. And then they have so much more fun on the game when they're wired, is because being wired is just way better. Now, if you got any kind of value from the video at all, make sure you check out my website, civil.gg, because over there we have full offensive and defensive schemes used by over 2,000 active members right now that'll actually help you win more games. And using code COLLEGE40, you can get 40% off a yearly membership just by clicking the link below, and you'll unlock everything you need to win more games for the next year.